a bit of context here from a clip that I deleted. This was taken at 1 a.m. at night and I hadn't slept, which is why I look and sound in the next clip. So fucked up. I promise I wasn't drunk. Our flight was at 6 a.m. We have to be in the airport 3 hours before, and it takes 2-ish hours from our house to the airport without doxing myself, which explains why we left at 1 a.m. I wanted to show you my nails. I painted them myself. This is why they look a bit wrinkly and fucked up. But it's fine. You can't really tell from like a distance. Hi, I have a lot of footage of me being on this plane, and instead of deleting it, I've decided to just chat with you for a bit before this vlog actually starts. I'd first like to say that I'm really thankful that you're all still here watching this, even though I've promised it like a year ago, like on the first day of me going there. And I know it's taken me really long to edit it, but I just wasn't feeling like it, so thank you for still watching it. I'd also like to say retrospectively that even though a lot happened in this trip, I still think this was one of my favorite places to visit, which is insane to say considering how terrible the UK is in general, but I really did enjoy London and I'd like to go back there again, mainly because of the cheap books, but also maybe someone else will die, lol. So we arrived in London 6 hours before we were able to check into our hotel, which was right next to Paddington Station, and I wasn't gonna spend 6 hours in the hotel lobby, and the hotel was really close to Hyde Park, around 15 minutes walk, so I just went there. And there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. First of all, this was our first hotel, and I'll explain more I think in the next video. Second of all, I thought it was really amusing how streets in London had writings on where to look because of how genuinely fucked up their directional traffic is. And third of all, I actually really enjoyed Hyde Park. I thought it was like quite a nice, serene place, and I did say that specifically because it was so similar to my name, because I am really that egotistical. But yeah, I would like to introduce squirrel cam into this vlog, and this is because I've taken so many videos of squirrels while in the UK, and it's mainly because I've never seen a squirrel before. I don't think they exist in Israel. I've never seen them. I think they just live in like colder places, so a lot of squirrel content is gonna come. So you're gonna have to enjoy it. like squirrels, these flowers are actually really popular where I live, and I thought that was pretty cool because there's nothing else in common between us. Anyways, I spent around an hour and a half in the park, and then I went back to the hotel because the time had come for us to take our room. I found my parents in a random cafe on the way. So this was our hotel room. The design is very ugly, but honestly, name one British thing that isn't. It was an okay hotel. The food, there was breakfast, it was pretty good, and the location was good. So, 4 stars. So, you're gonna now witness me trying pumpkin spice latte for the first time in my life. And I'm gonna try to give this disclaimer that I want to add a bit more to the review at the end. I don't want to add it now because I don't want to spoil it when you haven't heard my opinion, but know that there are a few developments after the clip was taken, and this was my genuine first reaction because there isn't any Starbucks in Israel and this was the first time I've ever tried it. So take that as you will watching the next clip. Lol. Hey, so I'm walking alone in the streets of London. You can even hear me. I wouldn't usually vlog alone, but I'm gonna do it for the sake of this clip. So I've tried a pumpkin spice from Starbucks for the first time, and I just have to say, this shit is fucking mid. It's not even that good. I don't get the hype. Give it like a 4 out of 10. Alright, let me start by explaining myself. I think I had way too much hope for this because of how overhyped it was, and it was really disappointing that it's mainly just cinnamon, and that's not really that special. And since now I make my own pumpkin spice recipes, I do recognize that this spice is mainly cinnamon anyways, so the taste is just gonna be overpowered by the cinnamon taste. However, I do like the drink now. I did try it again in the UK at the end of the trip, where I did buy it and I was drinking it on the street, and then I got headbutted. I don't think that's the right phrase, but yeah, someone basically walked into me on the street, and I think she just simply did not give a fuck, and it really did hurt. But you know what, it's been a year, I've moved on clearly. But yeah, I do make the drink now at home, and I do really like it, and I also use the spice for other stuff, for cookies and for baked oats and stuff. And I like cinnamon. I'm not a cinnamon hater. I think I just hyped myself up, and then I realized that this isn't really that special. It's just a normal tasting thing that I could have drank at home. It's not worth that much money. Also, this is a terrible freeze frame. You can see my pimple under my eye. But yeah, whatever. Slay. I bought these 2 mugs from Starbucks, and then I fucking died. Goodbye. Disregarding my awful bagel cutting skills, I do think an English breakfast is kind of really good. Anyways, we had a really long day today, and I was showing you my makeup, which I actually do my makeup when I'm abroad. And me, look at how cute I look. Wow. Anyways, So you're gonna be seeing for the next few minutes a lot of tour bus footage because we did buy a 2-day ticket for this tour bus and we sort of used it like public transportation, mainly because we did buy a ticket and it did go to all the most important landmarks, so there wasn't really any reason to go on the metro or on regular buses. This is totally my fault, but it's been very long since I've taken this footage, so I don't really remember the specific details, but we were near Paddington Station, and if I recall this tour bus line correctly, I mean, I could just Google it, I guess, so maybe I'll just add the map somewhere, but from what I remember, from Paddington Station you go to one of the edges of Hyde Park, then you go into Oxford Street, then into Baker Street, then you somehow, through the art of magic and transportation, you somehow find yourself next to Westminster and the bridge. So these are some of the places you're gonna be seeing in the footage. I'll add some sort of writing so you can know which place is which, and like maybe a cool fact, like the fact that the Queen died here. She didn't. She died in Scotland, but still. So I'm... What the fuck? This window is open. A little anecdote about these upcoming clips. So this is Piccadilly Circus, and I think that's how you say it. And next to it, like a 2 to 3 minute walk, was the National Gallery, which has quite a few like really famous paintings. For example, I think one of Van Gogh's paintings, which if you remember a while back had some soup thrown into it, and we didn't go in because my parents have this thing where they never go into museums, they just stay outside it and then they pretend like, oh, we visited it because we've been outside the museum, which sucks because I actually do want to go in, because what's the point of being like outside the National Gallery and not going in, you know? But anyways, so I've come to realize all I do is I take random clips, like random short clips, because the things I do and I never actually talk in my vlogs, so I should probably talk a bit more. So hi, I'm walking alone in the streets because I lost my family. I have no idea who these men and women are. So even ignoring what happens in the later stages of this vlog, which I will not spoil, but if you're watching this, then chances are you're my friend and you know what's going to happen. But regardless of that, we went on a very weird yet unique time in the political British climate. So I believe by the time we've been there, Boris Johnson had resigned, and so there was Tory elections for the next Prime Minister when Liz Truss had won. And so I believe we were there when she first got her, like when the elections happened and when she got into her job. Side note, this Shrek's Adventure, which is like next to the London Eye, I've taken so many videos of it, but I didn't go inside and I'm sort of still crying about not being there. But back to the point. So because this political event was happening at the same time, there were so many protests outside of Westminster. So every time we were there, we saw a lot of like anti-Tory protesting, which makes sense, not to like be a leftist, but also it's fucked up how many times the Prime Minister has to resign and there's still no general elections, you know. But anyways, and there were also a few pro-Tory protesting. There were a lot of news people with like their phone on a tripod and them talking, which just was cute. I didn't vlog any of this because I was actually on a Discord call, probably with Owen and Gilbert, and at the same time there was a Trump supporter there. I didn't take a video of him, but I did take a photo, which I'll insert somewhere here. But yeah, it was pretty crazy, you know. First of all, rip Queen Lizzie. You can see the ER there. It's probably now changed to whatever Charles's name is. But anyways, these clips were taken at the Tower of London, which is an old castle. In Tudor times, it was used as the actual castle, I believe. Or maybe it wasn't in Tudor times. It was used as the actual like castle at some time, and then they flipped it to be like a prison. I'm pretty sure it wasn't in Tudor times that they used it, because if I remember correctly, at some point when Henry wanted to kill all the wives he wanted to divorce, they were imprisoned there. So I'm pretty sure in Tudor times it was already used as a prison. Because of how many people were executed inside this place, it's believed to be haunted, but I didn't see any ghosts, mainly because I was depressed that I was there by myself. So maybe the ghosts felt bad for me. Also, there's like a big collection of jewels that were sort of fucked up to look at, considering how they got basically stolen from a lot of African countries by British colonialism, but that's a different issue. Here we were standing on the Tower Bridge, which is right next to the Tower of London, and this is actually not London Bridge, and everywhere you go in London they tell you this is not London Bridge, it's the Tower Bridge. London Bridge is actually the bridge next to it, and you're like, okay. Next to this, you're gonna see Westminster Abbey, which we didn't go in, and then we couldn't go in by the end of the trip because of some events that happened. But basically like a church, and a lot of like famous British people are buried there, like really old monarchs and people like Isaac Newton and Owen's favorite author. And like right next to the abbey and the government, there's this park that you're seeing right now that has like 12 statues of like really famous political people. For example, there was Gandhi and there was like Owen's favorite British Prime Minister. We eventually got off this bus at the Buckingham Palace stop, and we didn't go in today because we arrived around 3 p.m. and my dad said it's probably closed by now, so we couldn't actually go in. They didn't want to go in anyways. I hope you've already noticed this pattern, but I did. And because we got there late and my dad had lied to me, spoiler, it closes at 6 p.m. About when it's supposed to be closed, I was like, you know what, whatever, we're gonna come tomorrow anyways to see the guard show, we'll go in tomorrow. So instead we just like went around in the gardens, the Queen's Gardens next to the palace. Also, fun fact, every swan in the UK used to be the property of the Queen, but now I don't know who owns them, so maybe you can just take them home, I don't know. Lol. We ended up, by we I mean I ended up buying some vanilla ice cream, which is sold in every park in London, but it is pretty good, so I would recommend it. Slay. It is Australia, let's fucking go. Showing off Singapore for hypecta. I should try with Singaporean place. Next time I'm in London, I will try it. Oh my god, you could see my white hair. Anyways, at the end of the night, we went to Oxford Street and we spent quite a lot of time during this trip here, which I'll explain probably in the next video about it, since I do need to make that video a bit longer. But yeah, anyway, I'm not sure if we bought anything, but also Microsoft has a car in their shop, which is so cringe. Why is there a car there? Anyways, our third day in London, and our first thing on the agenda today was to go back to Buckingham Palace to watch the guard show. And sorry for this terrible fucking view, there were so many people there. This is the only view that you could actually see something from. There was a guy cleaning the windows, which was slay. Little did he know these windows would be broadcasted a lot in a few days. But yeah, anyways, we also didn't go in today because there were too many people and my parents didn't want to waste time. And spoiler alert, we never got in because of upcoming events, which I've already spoiled. I haven't decided if I'm gonna spoil them or not, so I'm just gonna do it randomly based on how I feel in the moment. But yeah, so from there we ended up going to Westminster, where we spent quite a bit of time. I think today was the protest day with the Trump supporter that I talked about earlier. But why was I showing this? I forgot. So we sat around Westminster for a time, then we crossed the bridge, and you can see Shrek's Adventure there, which still haven't gotten in. So I gotta go back to London sometime. Also, we bought this from, I don't know, you know, whenever you go to like a touristy place and they sell you stuff. So my mom is really bad at saying no, so they usually just put them in her hand, and then my dad is forced to like pay for them. And I got them for a photo op, so you're gonna see them so much here. Slay. Then we got back on the bus, and I think we toured London for like the 14th fucking time. Lol. And this is St. Paul's Cathedral for, again, the 14th fucking time that you're gonna see it. Apparently this was a very big marker in the Second World War, where Churchill was hiding under the ground, and every time they'd come brief him about a new attack in London, he would ask about the cathedral, and it never got hit. Also, they talked a lot about the architecture in there and about the architect of the cathedral that I just simply do not remember anything about, and I would research it, but let's be real, you're not here for actual research. So this is the Tower Bridge, not London Bridge. It's not London Bridge. This is the Tower Bridge, and you could actually go to the top of the bridge. You see these two pathways. You can walk through them. Then we had some food in the pier next to
Ladies and gents, boys and girls, a
London
very
Tower.
good afternoon. A warm welcome on board the boats. We just left Tower Pier, as you can see. We're headed. It's called the City Gamma. Now this vessel is licensed to carry 400 people on board. Now around this boat we've got life rafts and life jackets. All life-saving equipment. They will face 90 degrees as if royalty passes beneath. You can go to the top of Tower Bridge. Same shipyard that built the Titanic. Her main designed and built by the Dutch. Now when it arrived in this country, it turned up by a river in 22 pieces. What we done was something quite unique. We actually built the wheel laying on barges on the water and lifted it up to its current location, where it's remained ever since. We then added 32 capsules or pods. Now it's not a random number. That represents the 32 boroughs of London. It takes half an hour to go round. Views of over 25 miles from the top. You'll see Windsor Castle on a clear day. Now what we should be doing is going into Westminster Pier. Now the tide is just right, and we are the lowest boat in height-wise in our fleet. So I promise none of our other boats will take you up through here. Everybody is wrong. The actual name is the Queen Elizabeth Tower. I will go through nice and slowly, just so everybody gets a fair opportunity to get that photograph. Now we've just come through Westminster Bridge, and that bridge is green. The bridge ahead of us, Lambeth, is a sandstone building built by hand, over 1,100 rooms, inside. Now we'll get a bit closer to Parliament and look just underneath the windows on the first floor. You will see the Lord's Prayer, and that's written, engraved into the sandstone, which benefits you. Journey information. The next stop is Westminster. We're going to be there for about 10 minutes, then cross to the London Eye. So we go Westminster, then the London Eye. Now please remain seated until we are safely tied up. Have a look at
So the next thing I'm gonna zoom at in the next clip is used to actually be like a small cell where everyone who was ordered to be beheaded, like Henry VIII's wives, used to sit in this small cell the night before they had to be taken by boat into London Tower. And so a lot of Henry's old wives sat there for like a night, which is honestly kind of terrifying to sit there knowing you're gonna fucking die. You know, if you think about it, I would just go. Welcome to day 4 in London. Was that good? I hope that was good British accent. Anyway, sorry about the feet. In retrospect, I wouldn't go with sandals to a city like London again, because it is kind of like disgusting with how many people live there. But yeah, today we went to the London Eye and I got the tickets for there. But is that really surprising? But yeah, we got our tickets super early at like 9. Also, the actual like pod that you get into for the London Eye is really large. It fits like 20 to 28 people, and so that's how many people they actually fit inside it. It's not necessarily cramped, but it's very difficult to take like a video clear of anyone else. Thankfully though, no one was in my video, so they're gonna be clear of people. Call it my very good fighting skills for the window seat. Anyways, the skies were not clear, but the view was clear itself. Even though there were a lot of like clouds and it was like sort of like rainy-ish, you could still see like a really good view of London. And actually, like, this is one of the things that's actually worth paying. But at the same time, it's like £30 for like 12 minutes, so is it really worth? Who knows? The actual like pod moves really slowly, so you don't actually feel going up and then going down. And like, it's a sleigh experience, like 7.5 out of 10. I wish it was free. It was too expensive. And also really sad that I was this close to Shrek's adventure and still didn't go in. Also, this place marked the very famous tweet I tweeted, which only famous in my friend group, that I'm gonna insert here. So if you ever wondered where I took that photo, this is where I took it. When we finished our ride, we decided to walk from London Eye to Borough Market, where there's like food market stuff where you could buy food. And it was a pretty long walk. It was like 30 minutes or something. I think I was on a Discord call with Owen at the time. I'm pretty sure. But the reason why I'm talking about it is because I saw someone on this day, on this walk, wearing a League of Legends shirt in public. He was walking in public, and I'm pretty sure I looked at it, and then I looked at his face and I laughed. And if that person ever comes to this video, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Anyways, back to the League of Legends guy. I'm really sorry that I was laughing at him, but who wears a League of Legends shirt in public? Like, actually who? At Borough Market. My dad bought, like, I think it was a Spanish or Portuguese dish. I don't know the difference. Call me racist. I bought Singaporean food and these, like, blackberries that costed like 6 British pounds. After we ate at Borough Market, we went to Greenwich Park. We went there by train, and it was sort of really annoying to navigate, but thankfully Google Maps actually tells you like the exact train and when it's supposed to come, so not the best experience but not the worst. Greenwich Park was really nice. It was really remote though. There was nothing around it except the museum there, which was kind of slay, but although really annoying to go in by myself. So you know how in time zones it's GMT +1 or -10 depending on where you are. The 0 point is in Greenwich Park, which is where the museum was located. So after you go through the museum, you can go to the next to it. There's like a granite like small park where you have the line and all the different time zones, which I have a few clips in the future. More or less it was kind of interesting, although a bit too nerdy. Not a physics guy. I'm not a physics guy. I'm sorry guys. Sorry Isaac Newton, but I can't fucking do with physics. So you can obviously tell this is a new day from the fact that I'm showing you my breakfast. But the next few days are kind of like a blur. I don't really remember what we did because we had quite a drastic change of plans. I will talk about it in the next UK vlog, which is going to come soon. So if you're watching this vlog, then chances are the second vlog's already at least half edited, because I've talked to Owen, who's my biggest UK fan, who lives in the UK, and he said that I should probably wait and not post this one unless that one was nearly ready, so you didn't have to wait a lot of time. So that's what I'm gonna do, and hopefully it's gonna come soon. So I hope it's not gonna be too late. But some things that we did during these few days that I simply just don't remember. We switched hotels because our first hotel was supposed to be for 4 nights, and we went to Selfridges and to Harrods, which are high-end shopping centers, and we spent a lot of time at Oxford Street, which is also a shopping center, and that's basically most of what we did. And I'll talk about this more in the next vlog. But thank you for watching this one. It's kind of still surreal that I'm gonna actually post it even a year after it happened. Yeah, I love you. Goodbye.
A few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.